Hey guys, it's Mommy. I missed a Monday of Mommy Says, and I feel so bad. I am really sorry, guys. By the way, if at any time while I am recording this video, you should hear something that sounds like gunfire or a jet engine, pay no attention to that. They're installing the floors in the kitchen, and they've been doing it for days, so I can't really keep putting off filming because there probably isn't going to be a time in the next couple of weeks where someone isn't going to be shooting a nail gun or running an air compressor. So we're winging it. I'm very sorry that I missed last Monday of Mommy Says. I had intended to film while we were out at VidCon, in particular on Sunday at Disney Day. I wanted to film a little message about traveling with kids, and I thought it would be kind of cute for me to do that at Disneyland. Well, we never went to Disneyland because Gracie got sick. She caught a head cold on the plane, and she was just in really bad shape on Sunday. So it's also kind of good in a way because it gave me some time to think a little bit more about tips for traveling with kids that may, oh, there goes the gun, that may or may not have occurred to you. Some of them might seem obvious, and some of them, if you're a newer parent or it's the first time you're traveling by plane or long distance, might be stuff you haven't thought of before. So let me get out my handy dandy list. Okay, so your biggest enemy, you see, the biggest fear when traveling with children are the meltdowns. You know the meltdowns. It's when your kid just completely loses any semblance of sanity and tries to take your sanity with them in the process. And meltdowns can be avoided a lot of the time if you take a step back and plan ahead, and if you also remember that your children are children. So one of the things that I have observed, we go to Disney World a lot. We don't really go anywhere else on vacation. We went to Jamaica once, wanted to try that all-inclusive thing. We were like, that's nice, we're going to Disney. So that's where we go on vacation. Again, sorry for the gunfire in the background. So we see a lot of families just dealing with this complete meltdown, and it's funny because they call it the happiest place on earth. Do you hear the jet engine a little bit? It's the happiest place on earth, but you often see people crying, parents yelling at each other, and parents yelling at their kids. And I find that sad because a lot of it can be prevented. Now, I'm not going to say that Gracie never has a meltdown when we travel. I'm not going to say that to you. I'm just going to say that I've learned how to reduce the number and severity of meltdowns when traveling. So one of the first things that you can do is a new one for me. You see, because I have a compromised immune system. When traveling on an airplane, my immune system is compromised because of my MS treatment. When traveling on an airplane, I do this. I wear a beautiful surgical mask. As a matter of fact, I wore it. We were stuck at the airport for 7 hours. I wore it in the airport because there were just way too many people around me hacking up a lung. And Gracie actually wore it too, and wore it on the plane on the way home. You see, and we've decided now that our family will always wear masks on the plane because I wore a mask on the plane to VidCon, 5+ hour flight to LA, and Gracie and Daddy and our friend Miss Robin did not, because usually I'm the only person on the plane wearing one. Well, guess who all got head colds? Gracie and Daddy and Miss Robin. So, by 3 days into the trip, the three of them were starting to not feel so shiny anymore. And that's kind of one of the worst things that can happen on your vacation, is that your child gets sick. Now, what do you do when your child gets sick on vacation? Do you, darn it, we paid for these tickets, I paid a lot of money, you're not going to lie here in the hotel room, we're just going to pump you full of cold medicine and we're going? Or does mom or dad say, okay, you go with the rest of the gang to the park, and we're going to stay in bed today and just try and take a down day and prevent this cold or flu or whatever from getting too bad. We skipped Disney Day with all our friends at VidCon because Gracie was, she had a really rough night with the congestion. She woke up very congested. She was, having trouble swallowing. She was miserable. And I was like, I could pump her full of cold medicine, which I'm not a fan of doing. And she doesn't react well to cold medicine. Or we could get comfy up here in this bed in the hotel room, rent a movie, drink lots of fluids, and rest for the day because the next day we had to travel home. And so we didn't use our Disneyland tickets. And yeah, so did we lose money? Yeah. Did we miss out on, getting to hang out with all our friends? Yeah. Did we probably also miss out on several meltdowns and a prolonged period of illness? Yeah, we probably did. So, because I know for a fact that Daddy and Miss Robin were in pretty rough shape on Monday when we had to fly home, and then we got stuck in the airport for 7 hours. So I would have been stuck in the airport with an even sicker kid, because they were struggling during the time we were stuck in the airport. And I'm happy to say that other than just some residual stuffiness, she's fine. So that's one of those new things that I'm adding to the list is she's wearing a mask now on a plane. Other things to keep in mind when you're traveling are to try to keep your child's diet as normal or close to home as possible, because and it's hard, but try to bring things with you. Try to bring protein and granola bars and things that are going to be healthy. I know there's a lot of temptation when we're traveling to just keep eating the junk food, and we do eat more junk food when we travel than when we're home, but we also try to continue what we do at home, which is to make sure that there's protein and there's healthy carbs and there's lots of fluids and that there's fruit when we're traveling. So if you can maintain the same kind of diet in some degree, or at least make sure that it's not just carbs and artificial dyes and like a ton of sugar, that will help you a lot with behavior, because sugar fluctuations in your child's body can make them monsters, and you don't want that to happen. And I also mentioned hydration. We're traveling during the summer. A lot of us are going to theme parks, and it's very, 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 very hot. And children tend to dehydrate faster than adults for some reason, and they don't know it. So make sure that you just keep forcing liquids on them. But they're going to have to go to the bathroom all the time. Yes, they are. Yeah. Part of parenting is that children are going to have to go to the bathroom at the most inconvenient times, but you could restrict liquids and let your child get dehydrated, cranky, and unhealthy, or you could give them liquids and inconvenience yourself and have to take them to the bathroom. Set limits around what you do. One of my biggest frustrations is seeing kids sort of shuffling through Disney World like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, who look like they've been through the war because the park opened up at 9 and the parents are like, we paid for these tickets, we're going to be here we're going to be here from when the time it opens until the time it closes. And that might be something that you as an adult can do. I can't, but a lot of adults can do that. That's asking a lot of a little kid, okay? That's asking a lot of them physically, emotionally, mentally. Theme parks are extreme sensory overload locations. And, they're smaller than you are. They get tired more easily. And, that overstimulation and all the color and the music and the noise and the people and the long lines. You're asking for at least 2 meltdowns a day by pushing them to do the whole day. Take a break. During the hottest time of the day, you know what? Head back to the hotel. Everybody takes a siesta. We have a nice cold glass of water. Lie down. Maybe we draw the curtains a little bit. Let's get some quiet. And let's get some shade, and let's recharge. There's nothing wrong with it, okay? You would be better off having a happy child than and not doing 12 hours in the park than having an unhappy child and doing 12 hours in the park. Make sure you set their expectations ahead of time for where you're going. For instance, how long is it going to take to get where we are going? Is there a chance that it could take longer? Might we hit some construction? Talk about traffic. Talk about airplane delays, because those happen 7 hours of LAX. But, get those expectations set, and then expectations for the destination that you're going to. If you're going to a theme park like Disney World during the peak season, like during the summer, you're not getting on all the rides. You're just not. The lines are going to be very long. Talk about long lines. Be prepared for long lines. Have something to drink. Have snacks. Have something for them to do. Have a deck of cards in case batteries run out on devices. Have some portable games. Like we have a portable Family Feud game that it's just cards that I brought on the plane. Bring things like that. Lines at theme parks can be well over an hour long. So, pick ahead of time, maybe talk about which rides are your priorities, plan your trip in advance. If you can do fast passes of some kind, that's great, but sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you just have to stand on a 90-minute line. And that 90-minute line can be 90 minutes of HE double toothpick for you parents and the kids, or it can be, we waited online for 90 minutes, but the ride was really cool. That's up to you and how you handle it, how you set the expectation, and how you prepare for it and make sure that you have everything that everybody needs to be okay on that 90-minute line. Distraction. So you definitely want to have things to distract your children from some of the harder parts of traveling. So make sure if you're traveling by car, be ready with the car games. There's so many websites where you can download printables of like road trip bingo, which is fun. I mean, we had all kinds of games. We used to play the different license plate game. There's lots of car games you can play that don't even require anything. We do it when we drive back and forth to Lake Apacon, which is only an hour away. We play the alphabet game, okay, name a food that starts with A, and we go around the car and we do that. And you know what? It's just distraction. It just stops their minds from thinking about, oh my God, we've been in the car forever. Because you don't want to hear that. Sleep. Let's talk about sleep for a minute. Children need a lot of sleep, right? And that just because you're on vacation doesn't mean that sleep times should be drastically changed and that the amount of sleep your child gets should be drastically changed. I watched a lot of parents at VidCon just totally alter their children's sleep habits drastically. And I thought, well, that's not healthy. Maybe one night you want to let them stay up later to see a fireworks show or something. But in general, you should try to keep the bedtime and wake time pretty close to what you do at home. You'll be happier for it and your child will be happier for it. And you'll overall help to reduce the meltdowns. Sleep deprivation or a change in sleep cycles can be a big factor in the horrifying meltdowns. So, just try to remember, that it's important. And this doesn't just apply to little, I'm not talking toddlers here. I mean, Gracie's 11 years old and I still make sure that she gets to bed at the same bedtime she would at home. And that we get up around the same time that we would at home. And it's a pretty smooth sailing operation if we do that. We still try to eat pretty well. We allow lots of time during the day for breaks and quiet time. We keep an eye on the junk food. We don't just, because we're in Disney World, let's just eat every piece of junk food we can get our hands on. We choose, for the day, what's our junk food gonna be today? Are we gonna have a Mickey head? Are we gonna have one of those big lollipops? We don't have a Mickey head, a big lollipop, churros, cotton candy, and popcorn. And you're just asking for vomit, really. That's all. Vomit and a meltdown. Yay! It's a win-win. So, try to keep all of those things in mind when you're traveling. they're just little people, and even when they're not so little, I mean, Gracie's almost as big as I am, but she's a child, and it's my responsibility as her parent to, you know, see to her health and safety and happiness and mental stability. And if that means that maybe I have to do some things that aren't the way I would do them if I were alone, well, you know, I had kids, so no, I'm not at Disney World alone, am I? So, you know, that's just part of being a parent. So I would love to hear from some other moms and dads out there, some other tips that you have for avoiding meltdowns while traveling with your kids. I'm sure there's a lot more ideas than what I've just gone through. Please comment down below and let me know what they are. And thank you for being patient with me while I missed a day, but it was important to just stay cuddled up with my little girl in bed on Saturday and miss our trip to Disneyland. She's doing really well, and she didn't end up with a ridiculously bad head cold. She just has a minor head cold. Daddy, on the other hand, is coughing up a lung, so go figure. Anyway, thank you so much for watching Mommy Says. I will see you again next Monday, and I will be here every Monday unless my daughter gets sick. And thank you so much to the Toy Insider for giving me this little space on your channel. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys again all soon. Love you. Bye.